This is your daily dose of all things royal.
So the UK is doubling down on the fight against climate change. As an investment in future generations, yes, of course. But also crucially, as an investment in improving the lives of working people here and now. Our aim is very simple: to make energy a source not of vulnerability, but of strength, an engine to create thousands of new jobs, bring down household bills, and end, once and for all, our exposure to volatile fossil fuel markets and dictators like Putin who seek to weaponize them. Everything we're doing here is about seizing that opportunity, renewing our nation to deliver for our people. We will bring these opportunities home, not by lowering our ambition here, but by raising it. That's why at COP last year, I announced our world-leading nationally determined contribution, aligned with delivering the Paris Agreement in full. I urge other leaders to do the same, as the best chance we have of limiting temperature rise to 1.5 degrees.
Global warming, not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world, but then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change, because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And
all of us here today understand that we are edging dangerously close to the Earth's critical tipping points, thresholds beyond which the natural systems we depend on may begin to unravel. The melting of polar ice, the loss of the Amazon, the disruption of ocean currents. These are not distant threats. They are fast approaching and will affect every one of us, no matter where we live. Communities around the world are already facing rising seas, extreme heat, wildfires, floods, droughts, and increasing frequency of extreme weather.
Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. COP30 has been underway this week, and as I noted in my previous video, I believe Prince William's attendance alongside Prime Minister Starmer was a misstep, a sentiment that I can see is echoed by many. Scrolling through comments on this post by the Prince and Princess of Wales, I couldn't find a single one supporting his participation. And like me, people are questioning the true intentions behind it. Now, I'm going to cut Prince William a little bit of slack here because he may have attended COP30 on behalf of his father, as this is his father's passion. Yet, it is increasingly clear that he does share a lot of King Charles's vision on climate change. The narrative around this issue has enriched many, including the royal family, through the creation of lucrative sustainable markets. And that's something that I have covered before in a few videos if you go back like a month or two. This all raises concerns about the constant propaganda and manipulation that the public is forced to endure based off of those in power trying to control images. How can leaders perpetuate what many see as a fabricated crisis, one that's driven by fear, economic hardship, and even physical danger for UK citizens, pushing them towards a loss of freedom and living dignified lives. I mean, how is it acceptable that the public has little to say in the decisions that erode their ability to live freely? Prince William claims his efforts are about saving the planet and the future for his children. But let's be clear, this vision seems tailored to his own family's future. Prince George will ride horses on protected estates, Prince Louis will enjoy the finest organic foods, and Princess Charlotte will never face the threats that ordinary British girls endure, like those grooming gangs. Meanwhile, you have regular families that are being squeezed by policies justified in the name of climate change. They can barely afford to travel, they can barely afford to own land, and they can barely afford to feed their own families, but at the same time expected to foot the bill for an illegal migration crisis created by the very leaders meant to serve them? I mean, it's unacceptable. And Prince William, now rallying everybody to save the planet, is falling on deaf ears. The excuse that royals steer clear of politics right now no longer holds because they are directly inserting themselves here. This little shindig that the UN puts on every year is really designed to get commitments from these governments in the amount of money that they're going to tax their own citizens to contribute to this bullshit. And as I said in my previous video, I suspect that the reason why Prince William is there is to soften the blow to the UK when Starmer gets back and says, yeah, we need to contribute X amount, we need to raise taxes and blah, blah, blah. But I think this backfired spectacularly. Because if you look at these comments, people are calling out this hypocrisy. I have a serious question here. If Prince William can champion environmental causes that affect the UK citizens to ensure a better world for his children, why not address the fear and insecurity faced by British girls, including those like his own daughter, hunted by threats within his own country? Like, you can't pick and choose when you decide to be political and not, right? It's not okay to hide behind the excuse that, oh, the royals don't get political, but at the same time, they insert themselves in places where, quite frankly, is not appropriate, like in this situation. As an outsider looking in, from what I can see is that the state of the UK right now is in a bad way. The ruling class, including the royal family, appear driven by the desire for power and control, convincing themselves that their actions actually benefit humanity. In reality, these policies that are implemented enrich the elite, but at the same time, it's impoverishing everybody else. The West right now, or I would say the UK and Europe right now, are worse off today due to these initiatives. The unnecessary wars, the open borders, and even the man-made weather modification that they're trying to sell as climate change is all designed to destabilize society. So the question is why? Why are they doing this? It's because the powerful oligarchs and the globalists who back the UN don't want to save the planet. Instead, they want to run it. And that's what we're seeing happen with this push towards globalism. These are people who think that there are too many people on this planet who are useless eaters. These are the same people who do not believe that everyone should be entitled to the same human rights. And I want to remind people that human rights is not the same thing as inalienable rights. Human rights is something that the United Nations has defined for the world. I have to reiterate that the United States is the only country that protects God-given rights. The UN and this whole agenda is a godless agenda, as intended. Like, take, for example, freedom of expression is considered a human right under the UN Charter. It's not an inalienable right that is bestowed by God. And what the UN essentially is trying to do now is create this global digital compact where they're envisioning being the ones in control of the information online. So whenever another pandemic is unleashed onto the public, they want to be the ones to control what is mis and disinformation, as well as get to choose who gets to speak on these various topics. You know, in addition to these pandemics and vaccines, you've got climate change. They want to be the ones who are the arbiters of truth. Now, you see how dangerous that all is, because what is happening here is the consolidation of power. And like I've said in previous videos, the royal family understands that they will become irrelevant should this new world order take place, which is where all of these people who have money have been driving towards. And to reiterate what I've said a few months back is that this is about the survivability of the monarchy. The King and Prince William are not going to take a stand for the British people and go against this agenda. This is my opinion based on what we are seeing. It's not a coincidence that King Charles's other realms like Australia and Canada are all going through the same thing at the same time. There are clear agendas that are being pushed, and I know that the way that Prince William is being marketed, of course, is to protect the image of the future king. So everything that you're going to see is flawless, it's perfect, it's everything ideal in what the public is expecting to see from the royal family. But when we look at this flip side, and Prince William getting up there and backing and supporting something that has been deliberately hurting the very same people that he's saying that he wants to help so badly, you have to question it. And for my listeners out there, I am not trashing William and Catherine. I'm not taking away from the good work that they do. I acknowledge all of that. I'm just bringing awareness to something that I hope is not something that will continue when he does take the reins. And I say that because I think many of us, myself included, look at William and Catherine as the shining example of what contributing Christians look like in a civil society. It's what made Britain so great in the first place. I mean, has anybody noticed that the removal of Christianity from the foundation of the West has changed things dramatically and drastically? Now, it's my opinion, but they don't want your purpose to be serving God. Instead, they want you to be worshiping and serving them. Now, going back to William and Catherine, I think many people hope that they are the exception, that they are not like all the rest of these globalists who are trying to do this to us. What is being allowed right now is truly evil. It is a fact that the royal family has been aligned and in support of these UN Sustainable Development Goals. These are goals that have made the lives of 99% of the population worse. Everything that you see here has been discussed or is indeed actually happening. This is about totalitarian governance and control. You see, the ruling class, or the 1%, will never have to worry about any of these sustainable development goals. They'll never feel the pain of what is being forced unwillingly onto the people. Does anybody think that Prince William and his family are going to have to get a digital ID to prove that they can work in the United Kingdom? Come on. Or how about his family having to worry about their carbon footprint and taking mass transportation? It's already started in Europe, where people are being confined to these 15-minute cities. When we look at the UK's journey towards green solutions, it really did begin with these high hopes of a cleaner planet, energy independence, and a booming new economy. But yet, as the nation accelerated towards this net zero goal by 2050, all these cracks started to appear. Cracks that actually ended up hurting ordinary British citizens. It hurt industries, and it even hurt the environment in so many unexpected ways. For the many working-class families in the UK, the first strain came on their energy bills. We had green levies, taxes to fund wind farms and solar parks piled onto already soaring prices after the 2022 energy crisis. Now, did Prince William and his family feel any of that pain? I highly doubt it. For a first world country, electricity costs in the UK became the fourth highest in Europe, and 6 million households fell into fuel poverty. Like, how does that even happen? And then you have all these senior citizens who had to turn down the heating, knowing that switching to electric boilers or heating pumps could cost tens of thousands of pounds that they just didn't have. The government made many promises to help, but retrofit schemes were underfunded by as much as £65 billion. Like, it's shameful that the politicians have done this to the people that they're supposed to be serving. I don't think those that voted for the people in power ever thought that their government was going to turn their backs against them in every shape and form to carry out this agenda, and that includes the royal family for looking the other way. Now, and the final thought that I have here is like when you look beyond the royal family's duties, beyond the pageantry and the ceremonial duties, especially when it comes to the military, the king is supposed to be the commander in chief. He has let the people of the UK down in so many ways, from abandoning defending the faith to allowing this invasion of all these foreigners conquering Britain. As the UK remembers its veterans, what did they fight for? This is like a slap in their faces, and they know it and they see it, which is really sad.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Yeah, I think the Queen, if she was alive today, would be heartbroken to hear that. And I'm pretty sure if Prince Philip was alive, he would tell his son to fix this shit and dissolve Parliament right away, because what's going on right now is not serving the people.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Shameful. Absolutely shameful. I do hope that when Prince William does take the reign and becomes king, that he does make it a priority to put the people of the UK first and not this globalist agenda that King Charles is very much aligned and in support of. But what do you guys think? Do you think Prince William is going to be any different? Do you think he's going to be the same? Definitely let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.